Looking out across these distinguished gatherings, I see the collective financial intellect, corporate leadership, and strategic foresight that will inevitably shape the economic trajectory of our region in the coming years. The themes chosen for this year's conference, crisis, stability, and growth, a management accounting lens, present far more than a timely subject for academic debate. It lays down an urgent operational mandate for every professional accountant, chief financial officer, chief executive officer, who are navigating the volatile waters of modern South Asian economy.
What I said in the earlier part of the slide, that an affordable pricing is a very important requirement. Price of electricity, I regulate the price of a product. National government's decisions will benefit the common man in terms of the spending, and the reach of that spend will finally touch the lives of the common man. This is where the cost and management accounting practices being pronounced can also be a part of the government's economic decision making, as a result of which the common man will be benefited, leaving no room for disruption socially as his needs are fulfilled.
Canada takes pride in the role our partnership has played in strengthening management, accounting, education, and professional capacity in Sri Lanka. The incorporation of CMA Sri Lanka by an Act of Parliament in 2009 demonstrates the importance accorded to cost and management accounting in both government and business. From Canada's perspective, strong financial management, accountability, transparency, and ethical leadership are essential for sustainable economic growth and public trust.
Without cost records or financial records, no organization can really run efficiently. All the big companies who are seated here, all the quoted companies, they are doing extremely well, but the others, are they doing it? I would like to ask the bankers, if you give a loan, should not that there be mandatory maintenance of books and records? So the Companies Act has to be changed. Companies Act must put this, not only records, but cost records. Everyone is saying the cost of a product is so much. But if you go and check, now we have the method, what is called the cost audit, you go and check the records to see whether it is correct, they say no records. This is what we are having. So you cannot really develop now, as an upper income country, we really have to implement these things, because we are there to serve the society. As Mr. Raman mentioned, societal cost. Now all the inefficiencies of power generation, who bears the cost? It is the society. So that is why we need efficiency, we need productivity, we have to reduce the waste. All these things have to be done if we are really going to develop, and if we are going to maintain this upper middle income level, then we can really go to the top. And I'm sure that this cost accounting would be one area which will really help them.
He had an outstanding trajectory as head of the Singer Group for many years, and he served 3 days.
Also currently the chairman of the Advisory Council of CMA, Governance and National Economic Development. He has served as the president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants and recognized for an unprecedented 20.
That's Nilima. With another distinguished
and private listed boards.
Corporate governance across the UK and Sri Lanka. He transitioned into senior commercial leadership as the chief accountant of Mercantile Credit. His profound governance expertise through multi-decade council membership across the Council of CS Sri Lanka.
Of Lankem plantations, where he oversaw Agrapata, alongside holding a
At a Mayura Garments Salon, and then advanced into senior leadership as general manager of H. Don Carolis. Then we follow with Mr. SKS, senior executive entrepreneur and finance professional, long-term corporate leadership as co-founder and managing director of
companies.
'50 scholarships represented in that handover.
Not just 50, Arun, 100.
100, I beg your pardon. Yeah.
Very good evening to all of you. I'm so pleased to be here at the CMA International Management Accounting Conference 2026. I congratulate CMA Sri Lanka for convening this extremely important gathering. First of all, let me extend my appreciation to CMA, to Professor Wattavala and his team for the presentation of 100 scholarships to the public sector. I think this is an amazing gift you have given us. This is something we would value greatly because, as I will be explaining in my talk tonight also, this is an area we really need to strengthen. What you said was quite correct. For our economy to continue to grow, stabilize, and be competitive, not only do we need a vibrant private sector, but we need an efficient government sector as well. And in that, I think this will go a long way in our efforts to make sure that our government sector is competent, is skilled, and able to provide the right environment for our economy to thrive. So thank you very much for this. I'm absolutely grateful, and I know the President and the rest of the Cabinet will be equally happy with this gesture. CMA Sri Lanka has, over the past 26 years, played an important role in strengthening the management accounting professionals in our country. Established with the assistance of the Government of Canada and subsequently incorporated by an Act of Parliament as Sri Lanka's National Professional Management Accounting Institution, CMA has made a significant contribution to developing skilled management accounting professionals who continue to support sound governance, business excellence, and economic progress both across the public and private sectors. The theme of this conference, Crisis, Stability and Growth. Unfortunately, we are using these words far too much these days because I think we are dealing with so many crises, such a state of instability, that instability seems to be the new norm. So the theme of this conference is Crisis, Stability and Growth, a management accounting lens. I think this is both extremely timely and very relevant. Around the world, organizations and governments are navigating an increasingly complex landscape shaped by economic uncertainty, geopolitical tensions, and evolving sustainability expectations. In such an environment, sound management accounting is no longer merely an accounting or a financial function. It is a strategic discipline that enables informed decision-making, prudent risk management, efficient resource allocation, and long-term value creation. I commend CMA Sri Lanka for bringing together policymakers, business leaders, academics, and accounting professionals to engage in discussions that are vital to Sri Lanka's economic future. These conversations come at a significant moment in our national journey. Sri Lanka, as you all know, traveled a very difficult path over the past few years, emerging from an unprecedented economic crisis and natural disasters through mainly the resilience of our people, difficult policy decisions that had to be made, and the collective effort of many institutions, many of whom are present here today or represented here today. The World Bank's reclassification of Sri Lanka as an upper middle income economy recognizes the progress made in economic stabilization and recovery following the 2022 financial crisis, supported by 5% real GDP growth in 2025, driven by key sectors such as manufacturing, tourism, and financial services. The country now has an opportunity to move beyond stabilization and focus on a more resilient, inclusive, and competitive economy. Our responsibility now is to ensure that this progress translates into lasting value for society. That requires institutions that inspire confidence, policies that are informed by evidence, and professionals who understand that economic growth must create long-term value for society. This is where management accountants, such as you, have an increasingly important role to play. Management accounting is no longer confined to financial reporting or internal controls. Today's management accountants help organizations make strategic decisions, manage risk, allocate resources efficiently, and plan for long-term sustainability. Their work influences investment decisions, public policy, business competitiveness, and ultimately the quality of governance itself. As a government, we recognize that transparency, accountability, and sound financial management are fundamental to rebuilding public trust and strengthening our economy. Good governance depends on reliable information, and reliable information depends on integrity, competence, and high audit standards. I must say, Professor Vatawala, that many of us now in Cabinet are overseeing the audit and finance committees that are established in our ministries. We are looking at the financial annual reports that have to be submitted. Each ministry, each institution that is under us is expected to do this, and this has to be then submitted to Parliament and then subsequently for financial oversight to various parliamentary committees such as COPE and COPA. However, I regret to say that there are some institutions, some ministries, I think the Honorable Ravi Karunanayake here will also agree with me, we are still looking at annual reports and audit statements from as far back as 2017, 2018, 2019. It is only now that we are able to get them up to speed and get them to current status. This has been a huge struggle that we've witnessed over the last 1.5 years, where many of these good financial practices or accounting principles have simply not been followed and there has been no sense of accountability or no oversight, and no one has been held responsible for these lapses. So you can see how lightly these issues have been taken in the public sector in the past, but I can assure you that that is no longer the case. We all take these very seriously. These accounting standards have to be followed. Accounts have to be presented on time. They have to meet standards, and those that do not are held to account. Increasingly, organizations are expected to demonstrate not only their financial results, but also how they create long-term value through good governance, responsible environmental practices, social responsibility, and ethical leadership. Investors, regulators, and the public alike now expect greater transparency and accountability in the way organizations operate, both public and private sector organizations. This changing global landscape is reflected in the introduction of mandatory sustainability disclosure standards under SLFRS S1 and SLFRS S2 for leading listed companies. While SLFRS S1 provides a framework for reporting sustainability-related risks and opportunities that may affect an organization's financial performance, SLFRS S2 focuses specifically on climate-related risks and opportunities. Together, these standards encourage organizations to integrate sustainability into governance, strategy, risk management, and performance measurement. They reinforce an extremely important principle that long-term economic success, environmental responsibility, and social well-being are closely interconnected and must be pursued together. These principles are equally relevant to the public sector. Effective public financial management depends on accurate and timely information that enables governments to plan strategically, allocate resources efficiently, measure performance, and deliver better outcomes for our citizens. This, again, is a culture that we are trying to really inculcate within all the ministries, the departments, and institutions, where decision-making is not personality-driven on personal agendas, but actually based on evidence, data, and facts. At a time when Sri Lanka is committed to strengthening fiscal discipline, and we have shown what fiscal discipline can achieve in a country in the last 1.5 years, and improving the quality of public services, management accounting provides valuable tools to enhance productivity, transparency, and accountability across government institutions. Reliable cost information is therefore not simply an accounting exercise. It is fundamental to evidence-based policymaking, efficient public financial management, industrial competitiveness, and the responsible use of public resources. When governments or businesses do not understand the true cost of delivering services or producing goods, inefficiencies remain hidden, resources are misallocated, and difficult policy decisions become even more challenging. Modern management accounting also encourages us to recognize costs that traditional financial reporting has often overlooked, including the costs of environmental degradation, the inefficient use of natural resources, social inequality, and public health impacts. I think as I walked in, Dr. Raman, you were talking about all of this. I'm sorry I missed the earlier part of your presentation, but I think this is what you were talking about, really understanding the social cost of financing. Sustainable development requires us to account not only for immediate financial returns, but also for the long-term economic, environmental, and social consequences of today's decisions. By doing so, management accounting supports more resilient institutions, more competitive business, and a more sustainable future for Sri Lanka. As we pursue economic transformation, strategic management accounting can also help businesses become more competitive by supporting innovation, improving productivity, strengthening exports, attracting investment, and identifying new opportunities for growth. This is where professional education becomes indispensable. Professional institutions such as CMA play a vital role in national development. They are not simply centers of learning, they are institutions that shape values, strengthen professional ethics, and develop the expertise that modern economies require. One of CMA Sri Lanka's greatest strengths is its commitment to integrating academic excellence with practical professional training. Producing job-ready professionals is essential if we are to bridge the gap between education and employment. I also encourage CMA to continue expanding while creating greater opportunities for young people to access professional education. I'm happy that we are able to implement the education reforms that we've been planning for so long, where we are going to be introducing a professional vocational pathway into the A-level stream, where 1 year of their training will be in the industry, so that when they leave school not only with that academic qualification, but also with that industrial qualification, which will give our learners an edge in the job market. And I really invite all of you to support us in this endeavor by providing spaces for industry-based training, for on-the-job training, for internships. We will be calling upon you very soon to be part of this education reform initiative that we are planning and that we are implementing. Building a resilient and competitive economy depends on developing professionals who possess not only technical expertise, but also the judgment, integrity, and adaptability required to lead in a rapidly changing business environment. The accounting profession is changing rapidly. Artificial intelligence, digital technologies, automation, data analytics, and sustainability reporting are transforming the skills required of tomorrow's professionals. Technical competence alone, however, is no longer enough. Future accountants must also be strategic thinkers, ethical leaders, effective communicators. Professor Vatavala, I think, is an excellent example, and lifelong learners who are comfortable working with emerging technologies while understanding the broader economic and social context in which they operate. I commend CMA Sri Lanka for continuously modernizing its professional curriculum, embracing digital learning platforms and programs that prepare students for these evolving demands. As a government, we remain committed to investing in human capital because we recognize that our greatest national resource is not found beneath the ground, but within our people. Professional institutions, universities, industry, and government must continue working together to equip young Sri Lankans with knowledge, skills, and the confidence they need to compete globally while contributing meaningfully to our country's development. I would also like to acknowledge CMA Sri Lanka's growing international standing. I also take the opportunity to congratulate CMA Sri Lanka on hosting the 93rd board meeting of the South Asian Federation of Accountants here in Colombo, bringing together professional accounting bodies from across our region reinforces Sri Lanka's position as an active contributor to regional professional collaboration and knowledge exchange. Ladies and gentlemen, economic transformation is not achieved through government policy alone. It requires strong institutions, responsive and efficient public sector, responsible businesses, ethical professionals, informed citizens, and partnerships built on trust. I encourage all participants to use this conference as a platform not only to exchange ideas, but also to develop practical solutions that help strengthen institutions, improve governance, and enhance competitiveness that would create lasting value for our country. I congratulate CMA Sri Lanka on organizing this important conference and wish you every success in your deliberations over the coming days. And I wish all of you a very pleasant evening. Thank you very much.